All right, so we were at the halfway point, essentially. Okay, let me go back a step. I hate the fact that there's 17 games.
Yeah, I know. You're not at the halfway point till you're at halftime of your 9th game.
Right?
It's very obnoxious. It is
Stupid.
very obnoxious. And that, as someone who likes very even numbers, to be able to duplicate.
We're going to 18 soon. It's inevitable.
And then we'll be back, and then I'll be happy again.
Yeah.
18's too many games. But whatever, 17, odd number. It annoys me that half the teams have already played 9 games, half have played 8. It's not equal. Whatever. Rant over. Here's what I did. I essentially looked at a bunch of Browns. We have 13 of these, 6 on offense, 7 on defense, and picked a couple stats and tried to project where I think this player will end the season at in either a stat or a couple of stats. So you guys have your faces in front of you. If you think the player that I name will finish with stats better than the ones you're about to see on the screen, give me a happy face. If you think it's worse, give me the sad face. And for a couple of these, there's 2 or 3 stats on there. So
Yeah.
give me a general.
Yeah.
Give me an overall.
Well, most of the
general if you think it's
offensive
better.
players can't be much worse.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
So let's start with Deshaun Watson. I think
Yeah.
by the end of 2023, about 2,850 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions.
Where is he right now?
He has 900 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
So you think he's going to throw 12 touchdowns in 9 games?
Yeah,
Don't that's not crazy by any means.
I'm just
No.
I'm just saying the stats out loud.
Okay. Yes.
And then you think he's going to throw for about 2,000 yards in 9 games?
Yep. Give or take.
He's played how many games?
5 games.
So the question is, it's a happy face if we think he's going to reach this?
If you think he'll reach that or do better, and a sad face if you do not think he will
Yeah,
reach.
you know what?
I think
do.
that's very.
I'm going to be positive
I do.
about
That's
it.
attainable.
If
Yeah.
he's healthy, if he stays on the field, I think he'll get there.
Yeah.
If he-
That's an assumption for all of these guys.
Right, but
You
him
got to assume-
especially. But with
him-
where he's at, it's a
Right.
valid
But
concern.
I think that's attainable. Look, that's not a runaway
it's 200
season.
yards and a
that's
touchdown.
not great.
No.
That's solid.
It's 200 yards
That's
ish.
it. It's
And at this
okay.
point, I would
don't
take
even know
that
if it's
for the rest
solid.
of
It's
the year.
okay.
What is that, Mike? Like 210, 215 a game?
It's 215 a game and 12 touchdowns in 9
Is that even
games.
4,000? Does that come out to 4,000 yards in a season?
No.
Or just below
You
that?
got to throw more than 215 a game.
Probably, yeah,
to do
right.
that.
Yeah.
10 games
No, it's
would give you
3,600
2150.
yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that, going into the season, if I would have said that Deshaun Watson have 3,600 yards, you'd be like, oh, that sucks.
I know you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But based on where he is now, this would be.
I mean, the gold standard is 5,000.
Yeah, I mean, that's the. Right.
It's the gold standard.
Yeah, yeah.
I
that's
mean,
the
if
gold
you have
standard,
5,000
yes.
yards, you're going to a Pro Bowl and you're making a deep
But
playoff run in
if
most
he
cases.
would have thrown for 4,600 this year, we would have all loved it.
Backflips.
Yeah.
Backflip.
But
Now,
this is.
G had him throwing for 11,000 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But we all give the
take
positive
that.
face.
Yeah, that's, I'm good with that.
think
I
you do
tried
that.
to make these as reasonable as I could.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I wanted to give people a legitimate expectation
Yeah.
that's not too far out.
Sure.
Like,
We
if you
think
a player
we all think he can do it. We all
Yeah.
think he can do it.
If he's healthy, if he's second half of Arizona and then a little better, if at minimum a little better throughout, he should eclipse those easily.
Those are very
Help.
average numbers.
They
in the
are.
NFL.
They're not going to. They're not going to
Extremely
win
average.
you any awards. That's for sure.
And I will tell you this, I did consider injury factor a little more with Deshaun because I don't think the shoulder will ever be 100% the rest of the season.
Right.
Than I did with the other guys.
Okay.
So next up, Jerome Ford. He currently has 425 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on the season. I put this low because I think he's
That's
gonna lose,
very low.
because I think he's going to lose some carries.
I do
kind of
too.
allude
Yeah.
to Pierre Strong and Kareem Hunt
I mean,
having more. So 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's essentially double his production from right now to the end of the season.
no, it's
even though they
not.
have
How
one
many
more
yards
game.
does he have right now?
425.
Yeah, he has to get 375 yards. That's
It's
it.
essentially double, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got more than half the season to play.
And he
But,
missed the
but
first
you're thinking
2
he's going to
games.
have as many carries as he would. I put this low because I think he's going to lose some carries.
Okay, I think that's
Yeah,
very low and very
It
attainable.
is low. It is attainable. If he keeps his carry pace, then he will get there. I agree with Mike. I think that whether it's Strong, whether it's Kenyon Drake, the veteran who they brought in here, I think if he's not productive, which he hasn't been, they're eventually going to have to give out other guys more of a lead back
You know
role.
what, though? I mean, he has shown moments. He's had flashes, long runs.
Two runs. One against Pittsburgh and one against Indy, right? Was it Indy?
And I don't
Yeah.
know anybody else on
Yeah.
this team that's going to give you that
But I don't know that you can afford to give him 22 carries a game
to try to hit one home
to
run.
try and get 1 home run every 3 weeks.
I don't know if you can either, but if he does that,
What's his yards per carry on the season, Mike, including those?
He averages 4 yards per carry on the season. If
Which
you
is
take those 2 carries out, which were both 69-yard rushes,
Right.
he has 105 carries this season for 287
Oh,
yards.
That's awful.
That is
That's
a
less
But
than 20
again,
yards a
again,
carry.
you
Yeah,
know,
but
You know,
Yeah.
you're asking Mrs. Lincoln how she liked the play outside the gunshot.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's you can't take out their biggest plays.
Oh, fair.
It's not.
It's fair. I'm just.
Yeah.
No, it's a good point. It's
Yeah.
worth noting, but
We're gonna talk about Jerome Ford in our 5 facts.
and I'm
by
being
the way.
optimistic. I mean, they both better hit those numbers,
Oh yeah.
or they're not going to the playoffs.
Especially Watson.
I mean, I'd like Watson to
Especially
have better
Watson.
numbers than that.
Because
really.
those numbers for Watson are remedial. I mean, those are. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, I mean the Ford, it's even less. I mean Ford, that would if he doesn't get 800 yards, that's, you know,
I had an angry. I think I would go sad because he didn't even get the first 2
Happy.
games.
Happy. You mean?
Happy.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really play all the way. He had the 69 yards against the Steelers the long run when Nick got hurt. But really, he has.
But that was the 3rd game.
But that's the game that he got hurt. So
Right.
he missed 2
Wasn't that the second
as
game?
the lead back.
That was the second
It
game.
was the second game.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh
was
was
Oh
in
the
right,
second
yeah,
game.
you're right.
He
So
missed
it-
1 game. Yeah.
1.5. Whatever.
Yeah.
It'll be
All right.
close.
What else you got?
All right. Next up's Kareem Hunt, who currently has 196 yards and 5 touchdowns. Will he end the season with 475 and 10?
Yeah. No question.
275 yards over 9 games.
9 games, correct. He's
I mean,
averaging
75
32
You're
30
asking
yards,
for 35 yards a game.
30
Yeah,
yards
I'm gonna
and
go
5
with that.
He's
touchdowns.
averaging 32 yards a game right now.
Because I don't
Yeah.
think his role is going to change much.
Yeah.
You don't?
Yeah, I
well,
don't.
Well, if you think that Ford's going to get fewer carries, they've got to
I
go
think
to
it's
someone.
other people that are going to get him.
Well, I could see Strong picking up some, but I can also see Kareem Hunt picking up more.
I think they're going to want to keep him on limited carries. I think that's how they
Oh,
feel like he's going to
okay,
go.
to stretch
the
him out.
hunch. Yeah.
That's a good thought. Let me
Yeah.
ask you this, Jay, because I've been meaning to ask you this. What I was gone. What was the blowback from his comments after not getting the ball in the fourth quarter? None,
Very little, none.
because he
Yeah.
was right.
Well, I don't know that you're ever like you want guys to want the ball, and I don't think what he said.
he actually
was that-
apologized.
and I don't think he said anything that was really that.
And when I
egregious.
saw it, I was like, uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah, no.
And
I
I didn't know what the blowback was being out of town and not being as
No,
close
I
to
didn't.
it.
I didn't think it was anything
Good.
egregious.
I'm
really
glad to
he
hear that.
said.
Because
And
I think his heart is in the right place. You're right. I do want my back. I mean, it's kind of egregious that he doesn't have a carry in the fourth quarter.
Well, it was just that
But
game.
again, I think it depends
No, I know,
on,
but that's the game he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
talking
it
about.
depends on the role that you want him to have, and he's more of a situational guy. And if that situation doesn't present itself,
Well, it kind of did.
but
on
it
the
go-
play that was an interception.
oh well, on
That's
the
a perfect situation
See,
to use him.
I'm just so ambivalent on that play call. I don't really care. I know everyone got up in arms about
Yeah,
the
I hated
33
it.
run call.
I
I
mean-
didn't have that big of a problem. with it.
And the thing of it was, like, I know you had sent out a lot of stats that said, look, your chances of picking it up are it's a flip.
yeah,
I'm okay with punting.
actually, it
I'm
wasn't.
better with punting than an interception.
The numbers favored running it. in
I know
that
they did,
spot
yeah.
heavily at 3rd and 3 because at first I ran at 3rd and 4.
defense-
3rd and 3.
yeah, when you said 3rd and 4, I go, wow, I thought that was 3rd
in
and
the
No,
4.
I
end, the
messed that
defense
up.
needs to stop them. They're the better
You're
unit
right.
right now.
Listen,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But the defense has a much better chance if you punt the ball and it goes inside
Sure,
the
but they
10-yard
still
line.
had to go 58 yards. It's not like they had to go
I'd rather
10
they had to go
yards.
90.
I hear you. Stop them.
I'd rather win the game.
Yeah.
I'd rather get a first
Well,
down and
that's
win the
right.
game.
Right. Well, in a
hold on to the
perfect
ball
world,
and
yes.
hold on to the
But
ball.
did you want a pony for Christmas?
I don't. Listen. We don't need to go down this rabbit hole again. But I know everyone dislikes PJ Walker and he's substandard. You're still an NFL quarterback. You ought to be able to complete a 3-yard
Yeah, but
pass.
that's why I don't want it.
You ought to be able to complete a 3-yard
All right, what's
pass.
the next
Next,
one?
Mike.
Next up's Amari Cooper, who we spoke about a little earlier this show. 1,300 yards and 7 touchdowns. Attainable? Out of the question.
Yes.
Should he not?
He's
This might be the
never
toughest
had.
one.
I don't think he's ever had 1,200 in his
He has.
career.
He had 1,216 is his career. high.
I'm split on this. He's not getting 7 touchdowns. He's only got 2 right now. I think the yards is doable.
Yeah.
But it's not
I
going to
think
be
he's
easy.
going to get both because I'm going to say that Watson's going to play a
The
lot better the
quarterback
rest of the
play,
season.
yes,
Is
should
going to
be
get better, which
vastly
will help
better.
him.
Yeah, but he's got 2 touchdowns, guys.
Right, because Watson has only played half the time, right?
Okay.
And he
His
has played
touchdowns
well.
have come from Watson.
But we
And
all
Bull,
just
I was
said
wrong. He does not have 1,200 in his career. I apologize.
you just said earlier. We all agreed that Watson would throw. How many touchdowns did you have Watson throw in the rest of the year?
18. So that's
18?
12 more than he has already.
No, 12. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
throwing
so he has
12 the
18
rest of the
total,
year.
12 more for the rest of the year.
So I think it's reasonable to think that 5 of those 12 will go to Amari Cooper.
And
If we
now
agree
I
he's
feel
gonna
like,
throw
I feel
12.
like G. Bush now before the season started with all
Yeah.
these crazy projections. I don't know.
I don't think that's crazy. I mean,
I think the 1,300 is doable, but the 7 touchdowns, I know its quarterback play has been horrible, but for some reason, this team just doesn't throw touchdown passes to wide receivers. It's not their thing.
It's not their thing. It's not, but he could have one game with 2 touchdowns. I don't think that's not.
Again, he only
outrageous.
needs 5 in 9 games. I mean, he's had 2 and 8 with terrible quarterback play. I don't think 5 and 9 is crazy.
Yeah, no, maybe it's doable. I hope so.
I think that one is definitely doable. I wanted to go higher, but then I thought it would have been too crazy. So
No, you were right.
that
in
was
the good
that was in
number.
the right range.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Elijah Moore. About 600 yards and 2 touchdowns.
No, I mean he might get the 2 touchdowns, but he ain't getting 600 yards.
He has 270 on the season right now, averaging 33.8 yards per game.
So he needs 330.
Which he's basically staying on pace. I'm going to say absolutely, hell yeah, he better. And here's why. I trust Aditi. Aditi, when she comes on this show, says, guys, look, it's going to happen. There are things that are slowing it down now. It's going to happen. To your point on the quarterback play, all he's got to do is maintain his current pace, and he's there. Well, he better exceed his current pace because the quarterback play is going to be much better.
Yeah,
I don't know that I was ever as high on Elijah Moore as everybody else was.
I'm with you on there.
I am too.
I am on the negative on that.
Tyvis spoiled us on that.
They've tried him in some roles to make him more of a playmaker, and he totally fell on his face.
Yeah,
and that wasn't quarterback play or anything else. That was just his ability.
I mean, it seems like he's
Him in
lost
the
more yards
backfield,
on running plays than he's gained.
Thankfully, it seems like that has been sunset, the Elijah Moore in the backfield.
Remember we did a poll before the season. I don't remember, Mike. I think we did a poll like who's going to be second on the Browns in rushing yards.
Earl put that poll on his Twitter. That was
right.
An Earl Twitter.
And I think we had a good percentage of the fan base that had Elijah Moore second on the Browns in rushing.
In rushing?
Yards. Yeah. Am I crazy, Earl, or did people say that? Am I right?
No, you're absolutely right.
I think like a third of the people maybe voted.
Our fans need therapy. Yeah, they really do.
Nick Chubb might wind up second on the Browns.
They were people. There were people who was like,
2 games.
he's going to be our Debo Samuel. Yeah.
Yes. God, I hate when expectations get
Yeah.
raised with really no, and everybody keeps saying, oh, in practice he was, well,
Yeah.
I don't need to see it in practice. I need to see it in the games.
He's more like Debo from Friday.
Okay,
I
what
was
else?
trying to. Nick Chubb's third on the team in rushing.
He's third on the team.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
He's played 5 quarters.
Game and a
Elijah
half.
Moore's going to finish.
He's played 6 quarters
13th
of
in
football.
rushing.
He's third on the team in rushing.
Unbelievable.
How many rushing yards does Elijah Moore have right now?
On the
200
season, Elijah Moore currently has
like-
8 carries, 11 yards. And his long carry was 19 yards.
So the rest of his carries are 7 for
He's
negative.
got most
8
of his
or
carries have
something.
gone for negative yards.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be fast. You have to know what to do with it. And honestly, in the limited time that we've seen Marquise Goodwin, give me more of that. He knows where to run.
Yeah, and
He's in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And I know he
is,
hasn't
but
done
it's not
anything
gonna be
yet,
in
but I'd like to see
all
some of
season.
Cedric Tillman and David Njoku's having a decent season. I see nothing from Elijah. I could certainly be wrong.
Did you
But
see
I've
the
seen
Njoku
nothing
interview?
from Elijah Moore on the field that makes me think he's any good. He has no sense of the sideline when they throw him the ball. Like, you throw the ball to Amari Cooper on the sideline.
He knows where
if
he
it's
is.
possible, in any way, he will keep his feet in. Always. The good receivers always do. Elijah Moore has no sideline
Even if the
sense.
refs think he went out of bounds.
That's right.
He's in bounds.
That is,
All
that
right,
is
next
true.
up, David Njoku, 750 and 5.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
doable for Chief?
Absolutely.
Where
He's
is he
at
right now?
319 and 2 right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think
in.
his role is increasing as the season's gone on.
He's their number 2 receiver,
And-
essentially.
Yeah, and as Deshaun gets more back into the rhythm, I think it's doable. God, I feel like G. Bush right now.
I wanted to go higher on that one. I probably should have went a little
Yeah,
higher.
because that's
I'll be honest,
what?
probably should've went a little higher.
That's about 430 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Over
the most
9
he's
games.
ever had in a season, Mike?
For
He had
David
900.
Njoku's career, the most yards he has had
I think he had 900.
is his second year, 639.
Oh, geez, that's it?
Yes, his second
my
year,
God.
2018. He had
So-
628 last year.
So
But doesn't
he's-
this feel like his best season?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it
Especially, I remember earlier this season he did nothing.
I know.
But the last few weeks he's played really well. Last,
All
like,
jokes
3-4
aside,
games.
since the crazy burn accident, he's
played
played the
out
best
of his
football of his
mind.
career. Yeah.
God, I couldn't get over yesterday. He doesn't have any scarring on his face.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
It's like they're shooting him with stem cells? What's going
I don't
on?
know. He didn't really want to talk about it.
No, he didn't.
All right, let's move to the defensive side of the ball, guys. This is just one stat per player here. Let's start with Myles Garrett. He's at 9.5 sacks. Will he finish with 19.5?
Yes.
I think he will.
Yes. We've talked
Three
before.
yeses.
We talked earlier this week about how it's been hot starts for him in the past, and then it kind of
Tapers off.
slides as
Yeah.
the year goes on. I think this is the year that it stays or even goes even higher.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
this is his year. Defensive MVP.
He's on right now. If I had to cast my vote,
It's him.
it's
Yeah,
him.
he's right there.
Bill
It's him.
Barnwell of ESPN.com put out his midseason awards.
Yeah,
And Myles Garrett was his defensive
Good.
player of the year.
good.
He should be.
That makes me feel better. I think he is.
Man, there's some interesting guys in the mix for defensive player of the year that
It's,
we
a,
don't
good, it's a
talk.
good list.
No, I know.
I feel like we talk about the same guys like Miles and Watt and maybe Bosa, but like
Parsons.
Micah Parsons
and
is
Micah
in that
Parsons,
conversation.
Max
but
Crosby.
Max Crosby of the
Crosby's
Raiders.
having a
that guy's an
tremendous
animal,
year.
and I'm not gonna be. I hate to be a homer, but Trey Hendrickson of the Bengals is the most underrated pass rusher in the
Playing
league.
very well right now.
So, but I'd still vote for Myles Garrett right now.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other guys, just to name some names, but Geno Stone of the Ravens
Yep.
has 6 interceptions. He's
I
on
know.
pace for 13.
He's a ball hawk.
Wow.
Which
6
if he,
interceptions,
it's
man.
going to be absurd. He's never going to keep that pace up. but
Can't. But
13 interceptions, like right now,
Yeah.
6 through 9 games is impressive. And Fred Warner also
Fred Warner's
right in
another
that
one.
conversation.
Having
All right,
a
let's go to the
terrific
next
year.
defense lineman for the Browns. It's Darius Smith, who has sacks in 2 of his last 3 games. He has 2 on the season. We finished with 4.5 more for 6.5 this year.
It's funny. Last year he had a lot of sacks first half of the season, and then like none in the second half. Maybe he'll reverse that this year.
yeah. Or it's a trend.
Yeah, or
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm going to say no
I'm
on
gonna
that
say
one.
no.
Too.
I'm going to be optimistic. I'll say he gets. I'll say he gets right there.
How many?
4.5 more
He
sacks.
had a sack in garbage time last week.
Yeah.
It was at the end of the game.
It was at the end. And it was against a bad team.
Yeah, and
His
yeah.
pass rush analytics are very good, though. He's generating pressures. He's just
Yeah.
not getting
Yeah,
sacks.
right.
I think he'll get there. And remember, there's still some bad teams, offensive
And hell,
teams on the schedule.
He has one game where he gets a couple of sacks.
Right. Like
Right.
they're playing the Jets, who have a terrible offensive line. You're playing the Bears still.
Yeah,
like
that's
there's
true.
some games.
Yeah,
if
he
he
should
stays
be able to
healthy,
get fat on those
yeah.
2 teams alone.
All right, next up. Also, in your thing about like one game can change everything, Dalvin Tomlinson, his career high in sacks for a season was 3.5. He had 3 last week. So
I thought it
he's
was
on pace
2.5
for-
last week.
He got credited with an extra one. It went up to 3.
Really?
Nice.
Technically had 3 sacks last week.
That's
yes.
amazing. His career high was 3.5. He did 3
He
in
did
one
twice,
game.
but 3.5 sacks was his career high. He had 3 last week.
Yeah.
So, and Myles Garrett should technically be credited with 2 of those because he forced Clayton Tune up in the pocket. Right
Yeah,
in
I know.
Dalvin's
See,
hand.
there's sometimes that
But-
the sack stat, I like it.
Yeah.
But there's so many times that there's a disruptive force, and it's
Oh,
been
yeah.
Myles Garrett a lot.
Yeah.
There's a disruptive force, and someone else is able to slide in and get home.
Yep.
Right.
Sack
And
numbers
it's-
are not the only number that matters in terms of pass rushing.
Absolutely.
It's actually
Yeah.
probably
you can
of
easily
the-
back into a sack.
Yes. All right, next up, though, let's talk about our boy Ogbo. Also 6.5 sacks, currently 2.5.
Two?
Same
Oh,
pace
2.5.
as he has 2.5. He has half more than Darius right now, so 4 more for him the rest of the season. Do you think our boy Ogbo will get to 6.5 sacks?
I do.
The analytics on him haven't been as good, Mike, right?
Correct. Zadarius has been a much more effective pass rusher than Ogbo. Ogbo technically has more sacks right now.
By the way, I'll throw this little nugget out there. The Browns should go sign what's his name?
JPP?
JPP, right.
Yeah.
Look at that telepathy. He did
know.
not tell me that.
Nice job. I couldn't think of his first name. Jason Pierre-Paul. That's it. Make his strength even stronger. How much is he going to cost at this point of the year?
He's a little long in the tooth, though.
He started 11 games for the Ravens last year. It can't be that bad. I mean, if he's starting for the Ravens,
I think now you can have, like Brad kept talking about Ndamukong Suh last year.
Yeah.
This is a different team. This is a different situation.
Right, they're a
It's a different
contender this year.
defense. Now these guys that only want to show up for half the year, they might be interested
Sure.
now in coming here, whereas last
right?
year.
How much are you going to pay him?
I
$1
don't
million,
think-
$1.5 million the rest of the year?
And again, have to say every dollar counts on this cap and the rollover. But to your point,
Yeah.
it should be a minimal addition.
Yeah, I mean,
Sign him for the rest
But
of the season.
I like it. I mean, they have good depth on the defensive line, but you can never have enough
There's
depth
a
there.
reason. Oh, I think there's a couple reasons why they didn't really do anything at the trade deadline in terms of giving away assets because they don't have very
Right.
many.
No, they got to cling to him.
And it's the cap situation. That every dollar matters in the rollover. But
Other teams are signing these guys. Does it not matter for those teams?
$64 million.
One year. That's 1 year.
And then
And
it goes
then
up
it
to
goes
85.
Are the well, the Bengals are a bad example because they don't, go to the cap. But the Chiefs spend a ton of money on Patrick Mahomes. The Browns not the only team spending a ton of money on a
Like
quarterback.
Mahomes' hit, I think, is coming. I looked this up because
Yeah.
you kept mentioning it. Now I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Next time I'll be ready for you next time.
It's
because
25. It's not next year.
No, his hit next year I think is in line with Deshaun, but it hasn't been as egregious until
Yet.
this point.
Yet.
But
All
they-
right, but
they
it all
both-
rolls over.
I
Every
have
dollar
your numbers right here, Jason. In 2024, so
Yeah.
next season, his cap hits $57 million.
So that's
The
still,
following
it's
year,
still
it's
7 million left.
61 million, and the year after that, it's 63.
And
And-
what does Watson go to eventually?
Deshaun is 64 next year, and then I don't remember the increase. I think it's right around the same every
It's
year.
right around the same. It's,
But
it's a ton of money.
$7 million is significant.
It is. It's a lot of money.
They could spend $1 million on a player here and there.
Yes. I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying every decision matters. Every dollar counts.
Only because they have screwed up too many draft picks. That's why.
Well,
because
It has a lot to do with it.
Because
Yeah.
if you pay your quarterback a ton of money, it leaves you with less margin for error to screw up your draft
when you
picks.
keep missing on 3rd and 4th round receivers.
Yes.
Yeah. Doesn't
That
help.
screws you up.
Update
help.
real quick. Mary Kay just tweeted out the pre-practice injury report. David Bell is not playing with a knee injury.
Who?
Care.
David Bell.
Who's he?
Goodwin not playing with a concussion. DeJuan Jones not practicing today with a knee shoulder, so maybe that's why James Hudson's not
Oh,
practicing
yeah,
at
that
right
would
tackle
explain that.
today.
Well, then who's
That
playing
would make
left?
sense.
They going
They
with a
just-
2x4?
they just
They're,
brought up,
they're going with
a
an
parking
unbalanced
lot?
line.
He's probably going to play.
Two
I
tight
would
ends
think.
on the left.
Yeah.
Newsome not practicing, Njoku not practicing, and
Hey.
Pierre Strong not
That
practicing.
still doesn't
fine.
make sense.
Oh, Pierre Strong not practicing.
That still doesn't make sense. Because if
Yeah.
Hudson's your left tackle, you're going to put him at left tackle.
Right.
You're not going to put him at right tackle,
No.
even if DeJuan's out.
Yeah, that's weird.
Something
Maybe Hayden made a mistake. I don't
Something
know.
is odd with that.
Everyone else tweeted it. Like,
Okay.
everyone tweeted the same thing.
It
I'm
doesn't
just
make
saying,
sense, though. There's no logic behind
Maybe
it.
they're just taking a look at him there. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe, but I don't.
Maybe the only thing I can think of is that if DeJuan is going to miss some time too, that whoever the next tackle up is, they think he's better at left for whatever reason.
I
How
mean,
many catches does David Bell have this year?
David Bell this
One
season.
that I remember.
I think 3.
One that I remember. The third down.
'Cause I
conversion.
think I
Or
remember
fourth down. Was it
2.
fourth down?
Okay,
He did have
let's
a
go-
big
let's
one.
go around the
Yeah.
horn. Let's make some guesses. What do you think?
I think 3.
3?
I think he's got 6.
6?
Going bold.
Jason?
4.
One of you guys is directly correct, and it is J-Lo. 4 catches, 7 targets, 33 yards.
That is.
He has 3 first downs on 4
That
catches.
literally. That is. It doesn't even. You don't
I mean-
even have to say anything about that.
The last 3 third-round picks at wide receiver, Anthony Short, Cedric Tillman, David Bell, in their careers, which is a total of 2 for Schwartz, 1.5 for Bell, and 1/2 for. So it's essentially 4 total years between.
Well, they
them.
have 12 catches.
Probably more than that, but not much.
I mean, what did
Jeez.
Schwartz have here?
Maybe 20.
He had more drops than catches, I bet. In my mind, he did.
Probably. I mean, it's
God, what a
pitiful.
what.
We got 3 more. We're going to run
Yeah.
through these real quick.
And if-
Denzel Ward has 2
Mike,
interceptions
one last
this
thing,
season.
real quick. Sorry.
Yes.
Think if you had just hit on one of those 3 guys. Now, again, it's too early to rule out Tillman. But if you had just hit on one of those 3 guys, what a difference it is. One,
kidding.
even a one.
You
Go ahead,
called
Mike.
it a blind
Yeah.
spot. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is absolutely a blind spot.
Yeah.
And none of them did anything particularly well in college.
Well, David Bell
Till-
was Big Ten Receiver of the Year, which is a joke.
I know it was
considering
a
the guys that
joke,
went to Ohio
but
State.
I mean, when you think of their skill sets, Schwartz was fast. Purdue
Yeah.
caught a ton of, Bell caught a ton of catches in a passing offense at Purdue.
Tillman was highly thought of, though, coming
Yeah,
out.
he was, and he
I
had
know,
the
but it's
injury.
dropped significantly because of the injury.
Well, the Browns.
Yeah.
Who was the other Tennessee receiver in that draft?
Jalen
Jalen
Hyatt,
Hyatt.
who's done
yeah,
nothing for the
Hyatt
Giants
has
either.
done nothing
And
either.
the Browns liked Tillman higher than
Yeah.
Hyatt. Even though
Go ahead,
Hyatt
Mike.
went
What's the
first.
next one?
We got 2 more here. We're going to skip one of these just because
Yeah.
we got to get some super chats in here. But Denzel Ward has 2 picks on the season. We finished the year with 5.
Yes.
Yes. I got him with 6. What do you think of that?
Oh, that's bold. That's
Let's
bold.
go right
That's
to
bold,
let's go
Gotti.
next one then. If we all agree, Emerson has 2 picks.
Yes.
Well, he finished with 5.
Yes.
I don't care what number you put out there. I was saying yes to.
11.
13 picks. Yes.
Yes. My guy Martin.
Last one, Mike.
And last one, Greg
is.
Newsome,
One of the best.
Yeah.
Right now.
1 pick.
No.
Yes. My guy. I'm. Yes. He'll get one.
He'll have 1 pick
He'll get
for
one.
Indianapolis next season.
He'll get